Okay folks, so there you have the Crosman Model 760 Pumpmaster. Right here you can see that it says variable pump air rifle. And what they mean by that is, from Crosman, they say that you can pump the rifle anywhere from 3 pumps up to 10 pumps. And depending on how much power that you want to get out of the gun would determine how many pumps you'd put into it. Now, I just picked this up yesterday at Walmart. I'm going to show you the receipt here briefly. You can see right here, air gun, BB air gun, $34.97. I also picked up 6,000 BBs, and it was what, $9.47. And there was also some pellets that were $2.97. So keep that in mind. Those pellets, again, these were $2.97. These are Crosman. These are 250 of them. They have a nice steel tin, and this is some lead pellets. Don't want to open it too much because I don't want them falling out. And again, this tin is nice because after you run out of pellets, you can use this tin for making char cloth and things like that. Of course, you're probably laughing because here I go with my survival mindset, right? Here's the BBs, 6,000 BBs by Daisy, .177, again, $9.47. Not a bad deal. So there's some ammo for us. Now, one thing that I like about this is it allows you to shoot both. You know, that's pretty cool. This is, it says on the package right here, hopefully you can see that it's ideal for target shooting. It's also ideal for plinking, and it says that you can use it for shooting little birds and stuff like that, like small game. So let's open it up. Let's take a look. Let me set these BBs to the back, these pellets. Let's open it up. So from Walmart, this is exactly what I saw, what I'm about to show you. There's not much in the box. I'll open it up. There's the rifle right there. I'm going to set that back for a second. There's some owner's manual type information, and right inside this bag there's this little black thing. I'll explain this in a minute. Let me get it out here. Little black plastic thing. Sorry about that, folks. Right there. I'll talk about this in a minute. This is something kind of cool. So again, there's your owner's manual, things of that nature. Move this box out of the way. Now we'll talk a little bit about the rifle itself. I'm going to move the camera back so that we don't get too extreme on the close-ups here. Okay, so here's what's going on. Here's the gun. Here's the rifle. Hopefully you can see that. Very nice little design. It's very light. The barrel's real thin. If you look at the diameter of my pinky in reference to the barrel, it's a very thin barrel, okay? Very thin. The pump is a little bit longer than the older pumps of the type of gun that I used to have. I think my pump used to end about where my pinky is. And when they made this thing longer, you know, when we would pump, it took a lot of effort, but making it longer gives us more leverage, if you can understand where I'm coming from with that. Putting it down lower gives us a more mechanical advantage against this thing so that we can pump it really nice. Now, I've already put one pump into it. It has a nice cross bolt type safety here. So when you push this through, you see red means you're dead, right? Right there, it's on safe. This bolt, when you pull this bolt back, you'll see right there with that little silver part right there next to my finger, that's a magnet. What's cool about that, and I used to do that all the time with my old one, is that magnet, when you go to load a steel BB into it, bear with me here, you just pull this bolt back and then you start it forward, and when you drop a BB down there, that magnet will catch it. You see that? That magnet holds the BB. So, and then even even if, for example, you don't get it lined up straight, like say you jack it up, you can pull that bolt back and it'll line it up. It'll line it up for you. Let me show that one more time just in case you missed it. So if you just drop the BB down there and it's like out of the, it's not in line, you just pull the bolt back and it snaps into place. There you go. Okay, here we go. This says right here, BBs are recommended for target shooting only. So for plinking and hunting and stuff like that. Not that you would hunt anything big. I think, you know, when I had mine as a kid, I killed plenty of rabbits and squirrels and things like that, birds. But, so BBs are for target and pellets are for plinking and hunting. 5-shot pellet clip. I'll show you that in a minute. That's that black piece of plastic that I showed you. That's for using your pellets. This is the BB reservoir. This is a little bit different than the way mine was. I'll show you that in a minute. And I noticed on the front here, it said 30% less pumping force. Now you remember how I said the position of your hand, because this is now longer, you have more mechanical advantage against it. And it really is pretty easy to pump. My 12-year-old can pump it no problem. Here's this light behind me is kind of putting a glare. Let me turn this. Might even just unplug it. Bear with me, folks. Trying to get rid of that glare. Okay, so here's some recommended accessories. Some shooting glasses, obviously some BBs, pellets, and then they offer some targets that you can get. Things like that. Let's look at the end. Nothing there. But it says right here, variable pump, just like I said, up to 700 feet per second. And if I understand that correctly, that 700 feet per second is if you're shooting pellets and the alloy pellets, not the lead ones. The alloys are a little smoother to operate and you can get those high speeds out of it. .177 shoots steel BBs and pellets. Let's go back to the back again. Okay, America's air gun. An American icon is reborn. Since 1966, more than 16 million families have made the 760 Pumpmaster America's air gun. Today, it gets a state-of-the-art makeover while staying true to its heritage. The new 760 shoots faster than ever and features a new, sleek, stock design and elongated form that reduces pumping force by 30%, up to 30%. It also has a repositioned gravity-fed BB port for easier loading. For more than ever, the 760 is a classic choice for beginning shooters. Sorry, I'm trying to read and I'm about 3 feet away. That's pretty crazy. And it says beginning shooters, but actually, you know, there's another thing I saw in the box earlier. It says something about 16 years of age or older or something like that right there. This air gun is intended for those 16 and older. Of course, I saw a video on YouTube of a guy, his son was 7, and his son did great. So that's kind of a personal discretion I think that you guys could do if your kid has the common sense and the knowledge. Okay, here we go. Pump source variable pump. Again, anywhere from 3 to 10 pumps. No more than 10. If you go more than 10 pumps, you could risk damaging some of the air, you know, O-rings and things like that, rupturing some of those seals and things. You don't want that. Bolt action mechanism, .177 BBs, steel BBs, or pellets. The reservoir holds approximately 200. The magazine will hold 18. I'll explain all that in here in a minute. The clip holds 5. That's that plastic piece right there sitting on my bench. I'll show you that again in a minute. 2.75 pounds. Pretty light gun. 33.5 inches overall. Barrel 16 3/4 inches. Steel bore. Now on the barrel, don't quote me, but I believe this is a smooth bore barrel. I don't think it's rifled. I don't think it has any rifling. Rear sight adjustable for elevation, and I'll show you that here a little more. Front sight is fixed. Crossbolt safety, I already talked about that. BBs, 645 feet per second. Pellets, 700. we stand behind this product, right? Let's look at the gun. Okay, so here's a view of this, the back of the stock. This is a hollow stock. Honestly, and I'm not trying to knock it, but this feels cheap. It feels kind of, you know, like I'm sitting here, you know, you see me kind of tweaking this thing. I think it would hold up, but it's kind of scary actually. Look at that. It's just kind of tweaking. If you look at that, watch. See the seam? I'm not trying to say that I'm going to be out there tweaking this thing, but I don't know how this would do if it's really, really cold outside and the kid dropped it, you know, on the rocks or something, if it would shatter or not. The bolt right here has a very nice handle for your finger. The cross bolt safety, I mean, it's nice. It kind of reminds you of something that you'd see on a regular .22 rifle. Very nice. The trigger is made out of plastic. I didn't have no problems with it though. It's got a nice little dovetail here where you could mount a scope. The pump, again, I said it's a little bit longer, so you get more mechanical leverage out of it, so that you can actually pump that thing a little bit less effort. The front sight, last year's model, this is a 2014 model, but last year's model had a looked like a fiber optic type green sight up here in the front. They went back to the old blade, which I like, and this feels a little more sturdy, you know. And what I used to do with mine is I used to take and you're probably gonna laugh at me, but I used to take white out, and or white, some sort of white paint, and I would paint the front blade, and then that would help me line up my sights a little more. This rear sight can be adjusted for elevation. It has no adjustment for windage. Crossbolt safety. On the back here, you'll see that there's a little door. If I push this, this is a 3-position type switch. Let me get behind here and show you. This is like a 3-position type switch. If you push this switch forward, trying to get the best view for you, it opens this reservoir. See that? And what you can do then is you could put your 200 BBs inside. When you close this to the middle position, it will lock this chamber right here. If you push this to the rear, whoops, let me go back to the middle. See, that's the middle where it's locked. If you push this to the rear of the gun, you see that little arrow right in there? What that will do is that will allow you to put BBs into this area, and I like how Crosman did this cutouts here. I like how they did that, because now you can actually see that you have BBs, and again, it says that it'll hold 18 in there. I'm going to demonstrate that real quick. Okay folks, I'm in the process of finishing up. What I'm doing right now is I'm loading this thing with BBs. So again, my little door is open right there, and I'm just kind of dropping them in. This hole is a little bit smaller than the old gun that I used to use when I was a kid. And that old gun, the hole used to be on the side of the gun, and it used to be slightly larger. It used to be located like right here. Okay, once I have this full, I can put this thing back 1 notch. Let me come back so you can see it real good. I can move this back 1 notch to the center position, and that's where you could use pellets or something like that. Now if you want to fill this reservoir, this magazine if you will, move it back to the rear, and you'll see, again, you'll see that little arrow. And then when you tip the gun upside down and just kind of shake it with the nose pointed down to the ground, see how they're starting to fill? Kind of move it around. What'll happen is you'll end up filling that reservoir full of BBs. Once you get the reservoir full, put this back to the center position here. Now your BBs are locked in that reservoir. So from here, now when you want to shoot, say you give it a pump, you come back, watch that magnet. When I come back and I come out, see there's a BB on there on my magnet. Now I'm ready to fire. Let me look out the window real quick, out the garage door. I know that was only one pump. Their recommendation is 3 or more. But now I'm going to take this out with my daughter when she gets home from school, and we are going to go do some plinking. I'm going to show you what it's like. Let's talk about this plastic magazine, or clip if you will. To me it looks like a magazine. And the option of pellets. When you take the rifle and you look right here, you will see right there where I'm pointing that there's a little groove cut out right there. That little groove corresponds to this area. Let me show you here. Right here where my thumb's riding across. So you'll put that into that little groove, just like so. See that? Almost like an old stripper clip. So what you need to do, knowing that that groove is pointed towards the front of the firearm, when you fill this, you need to put the pellets so that they will be aiming towards the front of the firearm. So again, here's that little groove. Hopefully you can see that. See that little groove? That's going to go to the front, so we load our pellets just like this. From the back, just kind of put them in, the pointy side going forward, and they just kind of fall right into place. It holds 5, as you can see. That's what the loaded clip looks like. You can purchase more of these on Amazon. I think it was $4 or something, $4.97 I think it was, for 4 of these. So you can have several of these loaded in your pocket, ready to go. So now to operate the gun with pellets, make sure that your bolt, you see that bolt is in the way. You want to unload this chamber first. So I'm going to move this to the back position so I can see that arrow, and then I'm just going to push and kind of tap, and I'm emptying this BB magazine, if you will, and then I'm putting this back to the center position. That'll get rid of any BBs that might be in the system. See, my magnet didn't pick nothing up because that's empty. So with the bolt being in the rear position, what we would do is we would take that corresponding groove one more time, like a stripper clip, and we would put it into position. Now you'll see that there's little notches on this assembly. On each one of these little notches where each pellet goes, each pellet will line up with all these center lines on the gun. So you'll get it just like so, and it'll click. You see how it's lined up vertically? Then from there, you'll push your bolt forward and you'll see it chamber around. Then you can give it your 3 pumps minimum. And I'm going to look out towards the fence. Boom, and I just shot the fence. Now, when you're ready for another round, you pull your bolt back. See my magnet? Pulling my bolt back, and I'm going to push this in one more notch. Push my bolt forward, see it catching that pellet? See the pellet dancing around? Boom. Forward, now we're locked.